Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the A15 Sports Podcast. Today, me and Jake can talk about the Packers and the Dolphins, each signing their franchise quarterbacks for an additional 4 years. But first off, we're going to talk about Jordan Love and his deal. So Jordan ties Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence with the highest annual yearly salary of $55 million a year, which actually this year he'll make $100 million, which he basically got on signing day, $75 million of it by putting pen to paper. But overall, his deal comes out to 4 years, $220 million, and it makes him a Green Bay Packer through 2028.
What's that mean, APY?
Annual per year. So to kick that off, I think I think it was a fair deal. I mean, you knew he was going to want to get just as much as all those other guys. I think early on in the year, I was obviously very skeptical of him. Wasn't sure if he was the guy, but down the second half of the stretch and into the postseason, he looked phenomenal, especially in that Dallas game. Majority of the game against San Francisco, he looked pretty damn good too, barring a missed field goal or so. We probably would have been in the NFC Championship game. So I'm excited that he's a Green Bay Packer for the next few years at least, and that's going to make him a Green Bay Packer until he's at least 31 years old.
You don't think they overpaid?
I think anymore you have to overpay for your quarterback, whether or not.
Yeah, that's what
whether or not you think.
That's what I try telling people, but they don't. They just think that these guys are going to get deals that the old quarterbacks got. It's just not the same anymore. There's just so much more revenue. Yeah. So much more, like teams playing overseas, everywhere getting all that money. Like, since we're talking about Love, I won't go into Tua, but I kind of think their team, I lean that they're more team-friendly deals, right? Because they didn't sign him 8 years, $450, right? So you're not stuck with Love. If he's not your guy, you don't feel like he's going to be there forever, and you just got to deal with it. Yeah. Because if someone's going to get paid $450 million, they're probably going to be your quarterback, even if they're –
Well, Mahomes got that, but really he's looking like a bargain right now because he's at $45 million.
And the same with Tua. You got Tua for 4 years. So if you don't think Tua is the answer, you're not stuck with him. Mm-hmm. And I just don't feel like they're really that overpaid.
Yeah.
In today's market.
I mean, at the end of the day, next year somebody's going to get $60 million a year.
Oh, it's just going to keep. Well, you've seen that Tua signed, and he was one of the highest paid in the league per year. Mm-hmm. And then was it the same day?
I think it was later that same day.
That same day, Love got $8 more million.
Yeah.
212 to 220. All they do is one up each other.
Yeah.
And it's not even them; it's the organizations.
Yeah.
But that just seems to be the.
And I mean, while we're talking about it here, Jake, I'll show this to you. So, right now, Burrow,
and this is
Lawrence.
Is this per year?
Yeah, this is just per year. So Burrow, Lawrence, Jordan Love are all at the top of the list with $55 million a year, and then you got Tua at 4, Jared Goff there at 5 with $53 million, Herbert with $52.5 million, and just like you said, they just do the halves, or even just another $100,000 they throw on there. But that's just a list I want to show you there. But
and Tua said in an interview, he goes, I'm now the highest paid employee in this organization. Like, it's time he basically said, like, it's time he shows up.
Yeah.
He's got it. Like, it's got to be every week.
Yeah.
Because he's the highest paid employee.
Yeah.
Employee. And I thought that was pretty cool that he realized and said. I mean, nobody really says that.
Yeah.
He just came out and said it right in an interview.
But yeah, I think this was warranted. Like I said, you got to pay quarterbacks nowadays. Even the ones that aren't that good get like 25 to 35 million.
Yeah. I mean, it's just what it is.
But obviously with these two salaries for these two guys, it's super high expectations.
Right. It's got to be.
I think
if it's not,
yeah.
What are you doing?
And I think the next 3 years are the title, 2 to 3 years are the title windows for both your Dolphins and my Packers.
Well, I would agree.
I think
it's time.
I think you got to go all in these next few years, and after these next 2 years, 3 years, the Packers will be in like cap hell based on all the contracts they have. But that's really all I got to say about Jordan. We'll talk about the expectations for the upcoming season for the Packers here in a second, but I'll let Jake talk about Tua's deal here.
So, yeah, Tua got a 4-year, $212 million deal. It's almost identical to what Love got. I mean, obviously the numbers aren't identical, but it's right around that same mark. But I just think you knew this was coming. I'm not sure that the organization wanted to do this, but I felt that they were kind of forced. I feel like they were forced to do it because it took forever. I mean, it took the whole offseason. I mean, you could have paid him months ago. He was showing up at camps, and then he wasn't showing up. He was showing up and doing something, not doing everything. So you just finally got it done and over with. So now he can report, and he doesn't feel like he's not wanted. He feels like the organization wants him. Most fans. There's still some fans that don't approve of the signing, but what is the alternative?
Well, the Dolphins are going to be good enough next year to where they're not going to have a top, 10 pick anyways. And I don't think the quarterback class coming out this year is that good. So you kind of got to pay him. You know what I mean?
And I'm not sure you can just. I'm not sure you can just throw some Joe Schmo in there and, he's going to throw for what Tua throw for over last year. How many yards? I'm not sure what he threw for, but you're not just going to throw a Joe Schmo in there. He's going to throw for that. Now, will they be a competent team? Probably, but they're better with Tua. I mean, he's 34 and 19.
I think the big question
in his career.
I think the big question that people have with Tua is like how he performs against good teams, great teams.
I guess.
I was watching a Barstool podcast, might have been last week, and they talked about Tua's record the past few years against really good teams, and he only has like 3 wins.
Yeah,
I think his touchdown interception ratio, he definitely has more interceptions than touchdowns.
Well, I'm just telling you that he's 34 and 19, and it's hard to win in the NFL. And the Dolphins did not make the playoffs for so long.
Yeah.
And now they've been there 2 years in a row? 3.
2.
They've been there 2 years, and they went 10-6 and didn't make it 1 year.
Yeah.
So 3 winning seasons in a row. You're multiple above games 500. You're not just 9 and 8 like a lot of teams.
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't know where the hate comes from. I mean, yeah, I guess he doesn't. I mean, if you want to win in the playoffs, what do you got to do?
Well, you got to play better than the other team.
First off, you've got to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You can't win in the playoffs if you don't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So he's giving his team a chance, and I just hate that when he loses, it's all on Tua, and when he wins, it's all on Tyreek Hill. I'm just over that narrative. The Dolphins were decimated with injuries last year. Fucking decimated. Every position. Offensive line. He's having a different center snap him the ball in three of the last 4 games. He had a different center. I mean, shit like that matters. We don't know. We're not there in the trenches. So I like Tua. I'm on the fence of this is his year to prove it. Not prove it because I feel like he's already proved it. But this is the year that –
But, I mean, he's got to prove it in the postseason.
If you play 6 great teams, you got to go 3-3. You got to go 3-3. You can't go 1-6 like you did last year and beat Dallas at home. And we all know how Dallas was last year. They were kind of like the Dolphins. They flopped.
We smoked Dallas
towards the end of the season. So, I mean – yeah, I mean that I don't have much more to say about Tua because I like him. I have faith in him.
I think the big thing for the
3
Dolphins,
winning seasons in a row. If you think about it, Cole, before that 10-6 season, I had seen 2016 when they made it with Tannehill and they lost to the Steelers, right?
Yeah, Kenyon Drake year.
2008, after their 1-15 season.
Was that Chad Henne?
They beat Baltimore. No, the starting the starting quarterback for the 1-15 team was Cleo Lemon.
I don't know.
And the head coach was, I think, Cam Cameron.
Don't know him.
And they beat the Baltimore Ravens in overtime on like a 45-yard touchdown pass. I don't remember much more before then. So I had seen 2008 and 16. That's it.
Yeah.
It was all fucking feebleness.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit here and say that they've been terrible last year they flopped 100%, flopped towards the end.
And what I was going to say is Well, here, go ahead.
No,
finish
go
up.
ahead. I'm just saying. I like that. I feel they're trending in the same to right direction.
Yeah, my thing with the Dolphins, for them to be successful in the postseason, based on how it gets cold, and you're assuming things are going to run through either maybe a Cincinnati, a Baltimore.
You hope.
I'm saying cold weather, Kansas City. What I'm saying
Right.
is, for the Dolphins to do well in the postseason, I think it
I
has to
already
go
know
through
what you're gonna
Miami
say. I knew that.
because they seem to not be able to play in cold weather.
And the only way that happens is if you get the 1 seed.
I realize that,
And
or the
that's-
2 seed. The 2 seed can help you a little bit.
Sure, if they can just get one playoff home game and maybe have to go to a Baltimore,
Yeah.
which is kind of not relatively 10 below zero.
Well, you never
It's
know.
probably
But,
like 40, 45, 40, 50.
I don't know, Maryland.
It ain't snowing
I don't know.
in Maryland.
Well, it can.
Well, I'm sure I could. Yeah, I'm sure it can. But I'm just saying, I mean, I don't ever remember there being a snow game in Baltimore that I recall. So you have to avoid Kansas City, and you have to avoid Buffalo
Yeah. Well,
in the playoffs.
I don't think Buffalo's going to be as good this year, but we'll get into that. So
Yeah.
while we're talking about the Dolphins, we're going to talk about their schedule this year. And just to kick it off, my expectations for the Dolphins this year are the playoffs. I don't expect them to win the division. I'm not completely. I think they're going to be in, obviously battling for it, no doubt. I'm just not sure.
Who's going to win it?
I still think the Bills will end up winning the division.
I think that rounds
If Rodgers stays healthy, it wouldn't surprise me if the Jets are pretty good, but we'll see there. But for the first game against the Jaguars at home, I mark that as a win. Jake, what do you think?
The Dolphins have a pretty tough schedule, but I think the first half is very, very winnable for them. Very, very favorable for them to start 5-0.
Yeah. And I almost had them starting out 5-0.
Just gonna come out and say that I and then the bye and then Indianapolis. I mean, I'm just gonna tell you that I think they're gonna beat Jacksonville. I think they're finally gonna get over the hump and beat Buffalo.
Yep, I gave them Buffalo too. So we both got them started out 2-0 next game.
Buffalo's tough because they're kind of your older brother the last couple of years. We did beat them last year in week 1 or 2 in Miami. But overall, we have not fared well versus Buffalo. Recently, we've had success in the last couple of years, but not versus Buffalo. But I think next year, this season, I think they get it. At least in Miami. And I don't know about the Seahawks. I mean, I don't think if the Dolphins play well, I don't think they're going to be able to score with the Dolphins. And it's not going to be cold week 3.
No.
No. That's
in Seattle. Yep.
Yeah, but September. Okay. It's not going to be cold. It's probably going to be 65 or 70 degrees.
Yeah.
It might be raining.
Even 50.
If it's raining, this game could be a loss. I'm just saying right now it looks like
3-0.
I think so.
I agree. But all right, Monday night, the following week, you play Tennessee.
Oh, this is revenge game.
And I'm going to be honest. I think Tennessee is going to be a pretty formidable team this year. I think Will Levis is a decent quarterback. I think they got some weapons there on the outside. I think you got Hopkins, Ridley. You never know.
Who's hurt? Somebody was hurt from the Titans.
Hopkins just got hurt, but he's supposed to be back for the regular season.
No, I heard that he's not. I thought he was out for the first 3 to 6 weeks.
I thought he was out for 3 to 6 weeks from when it happened.
Could be true. We can look it up.
But either way, I'm going to mark that up as a loss.
But Cole, that's a game you got to win at home.
It is a game you have to win.
It's not on the road, and it's early in the season. If they lose this game,
aren't you going to that game?
No, I'm going to this one.
Oh, okay.
You have to have this game. I'm sorry. This is, and it's revenge, and it's in Miami again. This game ruined their season last year. 100%. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Monday Night Football, 99.9% chance to win the game. Yeah, I think they win that game. I think they actually mollywop the Titans.
Okay. I disagree with that. I think the Titans are going to be in that game. I do.
So we move to week 5. Trap.
You would say trap. I think they're going to
it.
smoke New England.
Trap
I think New England's going to be the worst team in the NFL next year.
I think they're going to be bad, but it reminds me of the year Miami went into New England the last week of the regular season with Ryan Fitzpatrick like 4 or 5 years ago, and beat the Patriots. But I just don't. I don't think. Again, it's not going to be that cold.
Yeah.
So here we go with the Dolphins already avoiding two places that potentially rainy, cold. You get it early.
Mm-hmm.
I think they start out 5-0 going into the bye week. I do.
I could see 5-0, but I got them at 4-1. I think they're probably going to lose one of those games. I'm not sure which one, but I picked it to be Tennessee. But either way, still a pretty good start into the bye week.
4-1 would be fine.
All right. So next up at Indianapolis, it's indoors. Not have to worry about weather.
Again, yeah, no weather. I mean, and then week 8's in Miami. I mean, they avoid a lot of that shit to start the season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Colts are.
I think the Colts are going to be decent. I think Anthony Richardson could be a very decent quarterback. I think he's going to be he's going to be very hard to stop with his legs. We'll have to see more of his passing ability, but he played decent last year when he actually played. I'm going to give the Colts that one since they're at home.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the Dolphins are. I think they're kind of a night and day difference better than the Colts. I just don't know that. I mean, the Dolphins, they do a listing of top 100 players in the league. 8 out of 100 are on the Dolphins. There ain't another team with 8. So you tell me on paper why they shouldn't beat the Colts.
I get all that, but I'm looking at it from the standpoint that they're going to be in Indianapolis. I think Anthony Richardson's going to be pretty good.
The road. Yeah, I just think I don't think they're as good as the Dolphins. So
the best team don't always win. Just saying. On paper, the best team don't always win. Week 8 against Arizona at home, I have marked as a W for the Dolphins.
Yeah, I would agree. And this is what I tried telling people. I said, I think the Dolphins get off to a fabulous start. I mean, that's 3, 4, 5. That's 7-0 with your bye going into week 9 in Buffalo.
Yep.
Now I'm marking this as a loss versus Buffalo.
Me too.
But here's what I'm going to tell you. November 3rd, I don't think it's going to be snowing yet.
Shouldn't be.
And I'm thinking could be 50 degrees still. It's going to be at least 50 here.
Yeah.
I don't know about Buffalo, New York. So the Dolphins have avoided the cold until week 13 in Green Bay.
Yeah. No, I get it. But I also give that a loss.
Yeah, no. I think this is I think they're 7-0. I think they're going into this game. They're hyped. Everyone's going to pick them and they're laying egg. And that's fine. You can't win every game. But then you come to week 10, Monday Night Football in LA.
I'm giving them a win against LA.
They're not going to really have a home advantage. LA doesn't really have that good of a crowd out there. I mean, it's kind of going to be this is tough. Well,
I'm giving them a win. I mean, Matthew Stafford, Puka, and I mean, they're not bad by any means. But I'm going to take the Dolphins against LA.
Yeah, I think they win that game. Week 11 in Miami versus Oakland.
Give me a win.
Again, I'm not quite sure why everyone thinks this is that hard of a schedule. Maybe because the back half is a little bit harder.
It does get pretty rough there at the end, especially if the Jets are good.
But New England is in Miami.
That's a win.
You cannot drop that game. Thursday Night Football.
We'll be there.
Oh wait, yeah, Thursday Night Football.
Yep.
Sure.
Thanksgiving, we'll be there. Against Green Bay. It's probably going to be cold.
It's probably going to be cold, yeah. I'm not sure that snowstorm yet, cold.
Probably not.
But cold. Probably 20, probably 30. I'm just marking it as a loss. The Dolphins historically play bad in the cold. But we have gone we've gone to every game. You didn't go. I mean, it's time the Dolphins get a win versus the Packers.
The last time that the Dolphins beat the Packers in Green Bay, the Packers won the Super Bowl. So if you guys beat us, that's fine. But I also have it marked as a loss. I think the Packers will come out rolling at home on Thanksgiving, and I think they're going to hand it to the Dolphins that day.
Well, they're not going up against no Joe Schmo. No, not here. They ain't playing the Patriots. I mean, this should be a good game.
Yeah, the whole country will be watching.
The spread will probably be 3.5,
2.5,
4.
I think.
It just depends on how the season's going.
Yeah.
The Dolphins could shit the bed and be 7-4.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think they lose.
I agree. I think they lose. Up next, Week 14 at home against the Jets. I marked that as a win.
Yeah,
at home for Miami. I give it a win.
I think they win. I think they get it at home. They play very well at home, and they have under Tua always. Now this one's tough.
In Houston.
This one's tough. Now is what's his name going to keep?
Stroud.
Is he going to continue his success?
They got Diggs. They got a few other guys back from injury.
They're good.
They are good. I'm going to give it a loss. I think Houston's going to be pretty damn good next year.
Honestly, I could see this game being flexed.
I agree. Yeah. I could see it being a later game.
Prime time.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't mean to put W. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say L.
Okay. And then at home against San Francisco.
Yeah, they're going to
The time got cut out there. I don't know.
That's fine. They're going to win that.
But I got that as a loss.
I think they're going to beat them at home.
All right. Next, Week 17 against the Browns. I give that a win. I don't really have any faith in the Browns. I think I think they have a lot of talent, but they don't. They just seem. Watson's a quarterback, but I don't know.
He's a wild card.
He never really plays.
He's a wild card.
I don't know how I feel about him. I give the Dolphins the win in that game.
I think they could play bad. This game, I think they could play bad and still. But look at how late in the season
Sunday Night Football it is right now.
Look at how late in the season that is in Cleveland. It's
probably
going
be cold.
to be fucking miserable.
Yeah.
I am not going.
I do think the Dolphins are going to have a good run game, though, too, this year.
And then I think by then, I think the Dolphins have it wrapped up.
Yeah.
And I think they don't play a lot of players in the Jets game, and I think they help. Now, if this is a case where the Jets win and they're in, or the Jets lose, you fucking play everybody, and you knock the Jets out of the playoffs. So I'm gonna say right now that's a loss.
I also say a loss.
But that my mind would change if that was the case for the Jets. Like they had to win, because a lot of Week 18 games come down to you win, you're in.
Yeah,
we've seen that year and year. So
Packers last year.
What do you got them at?
I got 10-7.
So I think I have 4 losses, right? So that would be 13-4.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yep.
So I think 13-4 is good enough to win the AFC East.
I would agree with that. I think they're going to be a wild card team myself, but
I just think I think they win the AFC East. I think it's KC at 1 as of right now, and then Miami or Baltimore. I mean, I would hope Miami, Baltimore. I would think the 4 seed would be, well, whoever wins the AFC South, right? Houston.
Yeah, probably.
I think Houston's good, but I don't know that they're 13-4 or 14-3 good.
I think they should sweep their division.
Probably they got a weak division. So then that's weird that if they sweep the division, you don't think the Dolphins can't beat the Titans?
I do think they can beat the Titans. I just picked that as a loss. I mean, I got to put some losses on there. Same way. I mean, if I look at the Packers schedule, Jake, I would pick them to win every game because I expect them to win every game, but I didn't do that.
11-6 would have been just as realistic. But I think whoever wins the AFC South, I think gets the 4th seed. So does the third seed get a home playoff game?
Yeah. The second and third seed would get the first home playoff games.
Versus the wild card.
Yeah.
Because the 1 and 2 get a bye, no?
No, 2 would play the 7.
2 would
3
play
would play the 6. 4 would play the 5. Because 1's on a bye. 7 teams get in.
So, yeah, I got third. Okay, so again, we'll do basement, ceiling, and realistic. I think realistic is 12-5.
I think the floor, the absolute bottom for them
Dolphins
is 10-7.
So you really think they're going to be better than that?
Yes, I do. But I got them at 10-7.
So I got 12-5 as the realistic goal. You need to be 12-5.
Yeah, I could see 12-5.
With this schedule and avoiding all the cold and having a lot of the good teams at home, this year, well, I shouldn't say that because they're on the road at Houston and Green Bay and LA. But you do get the Niners, whatever, and your division gets 13. I think 14
and 3.
I mean, 3 would be your ceiling.
So
I don't think they're anything better than that because I just think they have a couple hiccups.
So last question about the Dolphins.
And then, let me do their basement. I would probably agree with you and say the basement is 10-7. So that's what I got.
Now, last question. Since I said expectations for Tua, do you think he'll be in the MVP race this year?
I don't think there's any reason why he's not. Just based off of what he did last year to start the season.
Okay.
I don't know if things are gonna. We can't tell the future. I don't know if things are gonna be different or if things are gonna be this. You know what I mean? Or things are gonna be the same. I hope they're better. But so, anyways, we're not gonna do the preseason, right?
No, that was just the way the schedule printed out.
Well, you got color for ours, huh? How'd that work out?
I don't know. This one just didn't print color. I must have clicked the button wrong.
They must just not like the colors.
I guess not. So before we talk about the schedule, my expectations for Jordan Love this year, personally, I think he's going to be in the MVP conversation, same as Tua. Wouldn't surprise me if he wins it at the end of the year. And as far as expectations for the Packers, as it is pretty much every year I've watched them my entire life, I expect a Super Bowl. I expect the playoffs, and I expect to win the NFC North.
That
is just my expectations.
I agree with the last two statements. Winning a Super Bowl, I mean, that's just kind of a homer statement. I mean, I think everybody wants to, but realistically, both of our teams aren't better than the. Well, I don't know.
I don't.
The NFC.
I don't think the Chiefs are that scary.
The NFC is not as high powered as the AFC is. I don't think.
I mean, the Eagles don't really scare me. The Niners scare me because they beat us every fucking time they play us.
Yeah, that's like the Bills.
So other than that, I'm not afraid of anybody in the NFC. I sure as hell ain't afraid of the Lions. I'll tell you what, everybody's so high in the Lions. I don't think they're gonna be.
Yeah, but they
the
didn't
same
lose
powerhouse.
nobody.
I'm just saying, Jake. I don't think they're gonna be the same powerhouse as they were last year. That's all I'm saying. And they should have made it to the Super Bowl. They should have made it to the Super Bowl last year. I think they blew their shot.
You're in the toughest division in football.
We could probably argue that.
So
I think your division's pretty tough. I
don't get it.
I think
the Bills
I think
lost
the
so
AFC
much.
North is pretty tough.
No, the AFC. No, we're in the AFC. Oh, you're going.
I'm talking about the Steelers,
yeah.
the Browns.
That's a tough division.
Bengals.
The Bills done. They're done. They might go 10-7. Who's he throwing to? Who's his number one? I mean, at some point, he can't run 200 yards a game. Like, he's going to have to throw. He's going to have a running game. And their defense is going to have to be able to stop teams. I don't think the Bills are that good this year. And the Jets, I mean, how good is 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers going to be? Or 40, however old he is.
He'll be 40.
We'll go 40 to start the season, right?
During the season, I believe.
So whatever, 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
he's still slinging with the best.
He can still sling it, but.
Anyways, let's talk about the Packers' schedule. All right, so their first game's in Brazil, which I think is going to fuck up the first half of the season for them, to be honest.
Why?
Because you got to travel all the way to Brazil to play on a Friday night, and then you got to travel all the way back. I just think it's going to kind of mess them up early on. But I do have them losing in Brazil to the Eagles. I think it's going to be very weird. I'm not expecting to win that game, so I'm going to mark that up as a loss. Jake, I'm probably going to have to watch this game in your garage because I don't have Peacock.
Yeah, I should get it.
So
yeah, I'm going to say just based off of how good the Eagles have been, the only reason why I'm giving them this win is because I feel like they've proved to me more.
Wait, you're thinking the Packers are going to win, or you're thinking the Eagles are going to win?
My bad. I think the Eagles, to me, have proved more in the last couple of years than the Packers with Hurts. So I think the Packers are going to lose this game. I do.
Okay, I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to travel overseas and just to play your game, really. I mean, you're all the way in fucking Brazil. You never know.
Then they rebound, and
And then they play
the schedule evens out.
It does. They play the Colts up next at home. I got that as a win.
Yeah, you got to.
You got to come back after a loss week 1 and win.
Yep.
And then you're in Tennessee. I think Packers fans will travel awfully well to that game.
Travels to that. Yeah, it is a fucking away stadium.
I think that's another win for the Packers. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
And then you're at home against Minnesota, who I don't think is going to be good this year.
Sure,
give me that win. So I got 3-1 through the first 4.
Yeah, I do too.
Up next at Los Angeles. Looks like it's going to be a prime time 3:30 game.
Now this game I don't like. For some reason I just don't like this game. I think they lose.
Okay, I've got that as a win.
I think they lose.
I've got that as a win.
And we move on to Arizona.
If Kyler's healthy,
sleeper team.
Yeah.
Sleeper team, 100%. Kyler Murray is a very good NFL quarterback when he's healthy. Very good, because he's mobile, and I just like mobile quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's how you win in today's league. But I think the Packers can win this game at home. I do.
I agree. I think they beat Arizona.
This next one.
At home against Houston. Talked about going to this game. Don't think I'm going to now. But I think they're going to beat the Texans. And I hope they do. Lucas has been running his mouth how Stroud's such a better quarterback than Love.
I don't think this is going to be a good game.
No, I think it's going to be a really good game.
I think like it wouldn't shock me if Houston won, but for some reason I'm going to roll with Houston or with Green Bay just because they seem to always 9 times out of 10 find a way to win at home. I mean,
unless it's the playoffs. At Jacksonville, I got that as a loss. I just feel like we're going to be coming in off a 6-game win streak. We're going to go down to Jacksonville. Maybe Jacksonville's going to be down this year. Maybe expect to win that game.
So what is the outlook for the Jaguars?
I don't know.
Know?
They're paying Trevor Lawrence $55 million a year. I mean,
does he?
They started out 6-2 last year.
I'm such the Cubs have me so wrapped right now that I haven't really looked into every team yet. So I just don't know, is he surrounded by a lot of – I can't remember some of these
He's got
names.
Evan Ingram at tight end, Travis Etienne at running back, Christian Kirk.
Could be a good team.
Christian Kirk.
Could be a good team.
No, I agree.
Could give the Dolphins a run for their money week 1.
Yeah, I got him. I got it as a loss.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Green Bay's going to travel really well to this game too. I'm
sure they will.
It's another away team game. Away home team game for away teams. I think they lose.
Okay.
That was a 51-49 answer.
So we both have them losing against Jacksonville. Last game before the bye, they played Detroit. Primetime game on Fox, 3:30. I got that as a win. I think they come back off the loss and bounce back and win at home before the bye.
I think so.
Up next after the bye, we've got the Chicago Bears. We're in Chicago.
Sleeper.
I do think the Bears are going to be good this year.
Sleeper.
The Bears have not beat the Green Bay Packers since 2018 when I was a junior in high school. I think the Packers get it done again.
I think that ends.
The Packers do not. I'm just saying, of all the teams, they do not play down to the Chicago Bears.
No, they don't. But I think eventually you're going to see the Bears beat the Packers.
Yeah, eventually, yes.
So I feel like you're prolonging the agony. I think this is the game. I think the Bears beat the Packers. I don't know how good the Bears will be this year. Their schedule is very fucking easy. So they will probably have a good record here.
Yeah.
But then their last 6 or 7 games are brutal. So that the Bears could be a team that are 8-3.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the end of the season they're 10-7. And you're like, whoa. Well, that's just because all their hard games are at the end. They don't have a divisional game, I think, until here. Have you seen their schedule?
No, I'm not looking.
Well, look it up. I don't think they have I think their last 6 games are divisional opponents. Or something like that.
So do you have a loss
I
then?
I do. I think the Bears win. I'm hot on the Bears this year.
Then we got the Niners. Then we got the Niners at home. Obviously beat us in the playoffs. I'm sure that we'll come in kind of pissed off.
A brutal 4-game stretch here.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got to come out 2-2 and you would be happy.
Yeah, I actually have us coming out.
So I think they go on a little
2-2. Yeah.
I just think
I think we lose to the Niners. The Niners are like our fucking kryptonite.
Yeah, I get that, but I kind of get that. But then I think they rebound and beat the Dolphins.
I agree.
But I could see that being flip-flopped. I could see them beating the Niners and losing to the Dolphins. Both of those teams can go into Lambeau and win. Like if the Packers went on a Cole, I'm just gonna be honest. If they went on a 1, 2, 3, if they went on a 5-game losing streak here, it wouldn't surprise me because I think all 5 of these are playoff teams. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a tough 5-game stretch. This is going to define the Packers season. Would you agree?
No, I agree. What I want to say about the Packers and the Dolphins this year is they can beat any team.
Sure.
They can beat any team. So when we're going through picking here, I'm not just saying that one team's better than the other. The same way the Niners can beat any team. Okay.
Yeah, I think they're the 1 seed in the NFC.
Probably. I agree with you. But
I'm just telling you that this 5-week stretch is for the same with the Dolphins. Towards the late, middle, the end of their season, that's going to define who they are. So that 5-game stretch, if the Packers come out and they go 4-1, look the fuck out. But even if they go 2-2, or 3-2, whatever. But
then after the Thanksgiving game against the Dolphins,
it's another tough game
at Detroit. I got that as a loss. I think you're going to come into Detroit.
They've got a brutal schedule.
Nothing you can really do about it but play it. I think Detroit's going to come in fired up in that game after losing to us earlier in the year.
Kind of. Their back end kind of evens out.
And then you got at Seattle. I think that's a win.
Yeah. I just don't know. I feel like Seattle's kind of a wild card right now.
Seattle
Which
doesn't scare me.
How hard it is to play in that place.
Yeah.
We both know.
Yeah.
So
had some tough losses there.
So I think they lose.
Okay. Well, then you're at home against the Saints, Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
W, in my opinion. I think the Saints are going to be bad.
I think so.
At Minnesota, I'm going to give that another win.
I'm
not afraid of the Vikings this year.
Yeah, that's a win.
And then finally, you're at home against the Bears. I got that as a win.
Yeah, I think that's a win. I think it's kind of
probably a meaningful game.
Yeah,
there.
I kind of think that could be like for a division type game, or
playoff seeding.
Yeah, but what team am I missing? Bears, Packers,
Lions.
This game could help the Lions too.
Yeah.
Like say the Lions need one of those.
Yeah.
I think this game could be a divisional game. I wish I knew who the Lions played the last week of the season. But so
overall, I got them at 13-4. That's the highest I had. That's the highest I think will happen this year, Jake, is 13-4. I could also see 10-7 or 11-6.
Okay, I got them 10-7. So we kind of
agreed there as far as me when I picked the Dolphins, you when you picked the Packers.
I think 10-7. So I would say with this schedule, I would say their ceiling's 12-5. I mean, if they're better than 12-5, that they're going to be like they should be considered Super Bowl favorites at that point in time because
they've got like the 5th or 6th best odds.
They have played a gauntlet of a schedule with what I've just seen. I would say 10-7 is probably realistic, maybe 11-6. But I would say their ceiling with what I've seen, like if things go south, I mean like 9-8 would be their basement. I don't think they're an under 500 team.
I just think they're so talented this year, to be honest. They got guys that got a lot of experience last year. I really do think
it's going to come down to quarterback play. That's it. Point blank.
If he play, I agree. If he plays good,
point
and
blank.
I'm going to say this, I'm going to continue to say it. I think the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl this year. Hot take. I think it's going to be the Packers and the Dolphins in the Super Bowl, and I think Jordan Love's going to win MVP this year. That's my hot take. We can mark it. We can mark it. That's my prediction for the year. If Jake wants to make a hot take, he can. That's my prediction for the year. We'll leave it there.
I think the Dolphins can win a playoff game, potentially 2. I think they would lose in the AFC Championship game. Again, it would depend on where it's played at. Okay, if the AFC runs through Miami, I think they're going to the Super Bowl. If it doesn't, I have no fucking clue. It would depend on who they play, what time, weather. If they catch Baltimore on a 40-degree day, maybe. If they got to go to Kansas City again, I don't know. Kansas City's another team that everybody's got high hopes for, and
well, every year,
we'll see.
Kansas City's won the Super Bowl back-to-back years.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like these are realistics. Like I've said, it's not like we pick the teams that go undefeated. We both just think they're going 13-4, and then we both got them. Our opposing teams going 10-7.
At the very least, I see the Packers winning one playoff game.
Yeah, well,
at the very least,
if they can win their division, they'll get a home game.
Yeah,
and I think they would win that.
Yep. I just really think the Packers are going to be amazing this year. Hell, I think they might average 30 points a game. I think they might average 30 points a game. I think they have 4 to 5 stud wide receivers. You got Dobbs, you got Jaden Reed, Wicks, Watson. The tight ends are pretty solid, and Musgrave and Tucker Kraft. And then you went out and you got Josh Jacobs. I know you lost Aaron Jones, but Josh Jacobs is good. The offensive line for the Packers is pretty damn good every year. They got a new defensive coordinator every year. When they get a new defensive coordinator, I think they're going to be better. And I think they're going to be better. I think they added a very good player this offseason on the defensive side of the ball as safety and Xavier McKinney. They re-upped Kenny Clark. I got high expectations for the team. All these guys, this second, third, fourth year in the league, they've got experience now. Yeah, they've had stability at head coach. I think they've got a really good team, and I think they can go far.
It's not LaFleur no more. He's
no,
not LaFleur.
No.
What about your dad?
I'm sure my dad still doesn't like Matt LaFleur.
Well,
but I do kind of like LaFleur.
So for me and the Dolphins, it's put up or shut. It's what's the saying? Put up or shut up.
Yeah, you had it right.
It's time. It's time you win a playoff game, and if you don't, I think it's a failed season. Even if you go 13-4 and you lose that you lose that first playoff game in Miami, failed season in my eyes.
Yeah.
Sure, you would probably win the AFC East.
Yeah.
Thank you for me being able to put something up on a trophy.
Yeah.
But I would rather the Dolphins make a wild card, win a playoff game, than win the division and lose the first playoff game.
I agree with you. Yeah.
The only thing you can say is, "Oh, well, we won the division." Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Nobody cares. Nobody honestly cares if you win the division.
No, because how many wild card teams have made runs all the time?
Yeah.
In every sport.
Yeah.
Get in.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't think that would happen if they get a home playoff game. But yeah, that's kind of all I got.
Fun fact: Jordan Love has more playoff wins than Tua.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Wow.
I hope everybody enjoyed the video. We'll be back soon enough to talk about something. We'll decide what we're going to talk about.
We'll be having some college basketball and football stuff in the future because I think Illinois is going to have one of the greatest teams they've ever had in program history.
I hope you're talking about basketball.
For basketball.
Okay.
Football is going to be a wild card, but the Cubs. How about the Cubs? They've won 8 of 12.
Probably should have won 10 of 12.
Well, what are you going to do?
I don't know. I mean, there's 5 or 6 games out of the wild card. Yeah. I think they're just going to play with us like they did last year.
They've got like the 28th easiest schedule remaining.
We'll see. Yeah, just keep winning. So hopefully the Cubs keep it up. Offense has been doing better lately, so we'll see.
Can't make timely errors.
Nope. I got nothing else, Jake. Anything? Everybody have a good rest.